There is a spiritual darkness when it comes to entertainment. It's a very mysterious thing. Going into a dark room to watch the flicker of images go across a screen and to be captivated and mesmerized. It draws in deeply. The idealization gets its hooks into our minds and our hearts. It moves us. So much so that we linger and pine and just wish that we could be there. Somehow, if we could just fly into that screen and take part in that story. To stride off as the hero, to find the dazzling lights, to suddenly have the light turned on them, to feel special in the centre and at last appreciated. Often wounded, looking for mummy, looking for daddy. I say this from experience. I interviewed most of the great cinematographers. I've interviewed Keanu Reeves and David Lynch, Stephen Daldry, Stephen Poster, who did Donnie Darko. Hundreds and hundreds. I've hung out with them at nightclubs. I've watched Alan Rickman nursing a drink months before he died, alone, people not approaching him because he just seemed too famous. People not knowing how to do it. Why? Rejection. Fame and fortune are like two wolves that don't really exist in the same pen. Fortune is for those who are very clever, and in the film industry, it's often the producers, the ones that can see the talent, can see those wide-eyed people that are coming towards Never Neverland, that they follow the whistling of the piper. Hungry to be seen, hungry to get favour and approval. I'm going to read a psalm. Psalm 142. I cried unto the Lord with my voice. Yea, even unto the Lord did I make my supplication. I would say that I prayed. When I was in my teens and I was lost, I prayed to God to be famous, or to be amongst the famous. I poured out my complaints before him and shewed him my trouble. When my spirit was in heaviness, thou knewest my path, in the way wherein I walked. When my spirit was in heaviness, thou knewest my path. In the way wherein I walked, have they privily laid a snare for me. I would say that on my journey, I got carried away and I even married and skipped into the headlights or limelights of the industry. I'd say headlights because it is a bit like running towards a train that is coming in your direction, because it's going to smack you at some point when you wake up and realise that it's all fiction. It's not real. It never was. And yet we have thousands of children. You can look at our youth now, abandoning their communities, their families, their friends, giving up everything because they want to emulate some idol, or they want to find a promised land that's created by what? An industry that can flick on the lights and turn on the cameras and tell a few stories, dress people up, put on some makeup, spin them around. It's not real. And there's many there that will snare. They wait in the shadows, because when you turn on the light that bright Oh, the moths do come, and the vampires do come, and they're lurking and leering all around. Hide your light under a bushel and know when to do it. A bit like Harry Potter with his invisibility cloak. Sometimes you really do have to learn how to be grey. I looked also upon my right hand, and saw there was no man that would know me. I had no place to flee unto, and no man cared for my soul. It's an industry that is really very shallow. And most people in front of the camera have a script. Actors that say great things or know how to say them and emote, they're being spoon-fed lines. And if the film is really popular, well, then it's been approved on some level, because politically the landscape is monitored. I think it's always very good now to look at the producers and let's see who's putting the money into it, because our eyes are being fed so many lies. And wouldn't you want to know who's paying to get those lies into your eyes? I think that would be a much better use of time. I cried unto thee, O Lord, and said, Thou art my hope and my portion in the land of the living. Real life, family, the children. Can you recall, or do you know of a film when the children were really at the centre of it? There are some, Lord Fauntleroy, or those that A White Christmas, a very long time ago. When did that change? Even Star Wars. Apart from Luke Skywalker, and when we get into the later tales with Leia, where were the children? How many children did you see? And when you do see children in films, what part do they play? How are they dressed? What are they made to say? And what content surrounds them? How are we treating our children? Because really, what they not to be, like Jesus in the cradle, what life is all about? The little lambs? Or have we now gone into a situation of Lord of the Flies where all the adults have never grown up? And the consequences of that? I'm only maturing now and it's painful. I could hide behind a mask. But I've really found it difficult to find out how to speak as I am with a camera. Because these things have been used for the darker side of life. I cried unto thee, O Lord, and said, Thou art my hope, and my portion in the land of the living. Consider my complaint, for I am brought very low. O deliver me from my persecutors, for they are too strong for me. Bring my soul out of prison, that I may give thanks unto thy name, which thing if thou wilt grant me, then shall the righteous resort unto my company. Malachi 3:15. And now we call the arrogant blessed. Not only do they prosper, but they put God to the test and escape. It does seem that way, doesn't it?